Okay, so I went to the Cooper Center, that's in Santa Ana. This is actually a warehouse that houses all of the fossils and artifacts that were ever found in Orange County. According to some of the archaeological laws, I don't know a lot of them, whatever artifacts are found in Orange County have to stay in Orange County. And since there's no museum to exhibit the fossils or artifacts in, they're all just like sitting in a warehouse right now. So Orange County is the only county without a natural history museum. So right now, I actually work with the CCRPA, the California Cultural Resource Preservation Alliance. So we actually preserve a lot of the archaeological sites, especially right here in Orange County. And we're trying to get a museum task force set up so we can set up a natural history museum so we can like exhibit all of that stuff. So 90% of the archaeological sites have been destroyed by development. So there's actually a lot of area, especially in Orange County, like in Irvine, and especially there's a lot of hills, and all those places are pristine for development companies because they know that they can put like $1 million condos there. But unfortunately, that's a lot of sacred ground, and there are actual like cemeteries and a lot of artifacts that are buried there, and they disturb those. So when they do come across that kind of stuff, it just all gets moved into a warehouse, and the warehouse, it doesn't have the right kind of environment or temperature to like keep it preserved. So yeah, the more development that goes on, the more artifacts are dug up, and then they're not preserved correctly or put on curation.
If I may interject, within the archaeological community, they have something known as a NAGPRA, which is a Native American Grave Protection and Repatriation Act. And basically, when they discover bones, human bones of any sort, they are supposed to either excavate them or determine the ground is sacred and leave it and not develop on it. However, there's so many loopholes that people seem to find legally, and so they just go on ahead, and as she's saying, they don't necessarily take the proper procedures that is necessary to move these items into, with reverence, into locations that are approved by Native Americans that own these lands or lived on these lands prior to, them being taken over by settlers, and then by, other folks coming in, like missionaries and, white settlements moving westward. And so basically, that's one of the purposes as well as the Cooper Center, besides them having the paleo-archaeological items that you won't see actually in other places. Very cool center. Please continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so what they did, they just basically set up a field trip for the public, and there was only like 10 people that showed up. I was one of them. So we basically just got to go into the 3 different warehouses that they had fossils, and like this fossil's literally just like sitting on the ground in like a tin warehouse. So right now they're trying to get funding so they can get a better facility, and they're also looking for a lot of volunteers. They only have 10 volunteers right now.
About the whales, I used to volunteer there. I think I worked on prepping that fossil, but they used to say AFW, another fucking whale, because they would find another cetacean fossil and have nowhere to put it. They're like, God, another fucking whale.
Exactly, and they don't have the skulls to a lot of them,
Yeah.
and that's the only way that they can identify the species.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to have the whale's ear bone, and a lot of these, they don't know what it is until they get into the jacket, and it could be like years, like 2 years into it, and yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so these are called, this is called a jacket. Basically, when they find fossils in the field, they'll put a burlap or some kind of piece of fabric over it, and then plaster it, and then do that layer by layer until they can cut around it and cut under it, and then take it out of the ground and flip it over and do the same thing to encase the whole fossil. So when you have small ones like this is a bone bed, so it came from some kind of water area, like a stream, and all the bones got mixed into a concretion. So there could be different bones from all different types of animals from different areas that got washed together. These ones are really small, so they said that these ones are unique because they're small enough to check out both sides. So you could cut off one end of them, and if there's no fossils on the top right there, you can just rejacket it, flip it over, and then go onto the other side and check out the fossils there. That's different because some of these are this big, which is about like 4 feet tall, and with something like that, you can't flip it over and check it out. So this one is actually, you can tell if it's field side up or field side down, depending on this. So this is actually field side down, so that means that the fossils are all gonna be down here on the bottom. And they were explaining that about 2 years into the project, it goes about halfway down, so it'll take about 3 years to get to any of the fossils inside this Tolega jacket.
So these are like superposition, so your superposition is just, it's a term for stratigraphy, where your oldest layers are at the bottom and your newer layers, of course, are gonna be on the top. So that would be like their older if they had fossils, that's why you probably find them at the bottom, because it's the oldest layer. And as the layers go up, they call it superposition. So the newer layers, as you know, when you can go to the Grand Canyon, you can see the same kind of action. So older stuff is always at the bottom, of course.
Actually, I wanted to say something about the bone beds too. So the bone beds, that was where that ranger, he was talking about primates being found in Orange County.
What?
Yeah, so I had told him that our professor told us that there are no primates indigenous to Orange County, and he said that they actually did find something.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah, so he said that,
Project I want to be part
I know, right? He said, yeah, we do find them. So they found tiny jaws. He said they were about that big.
Fused or unfused mandibles?
Unfused
Ah, so that would have lived to Strepsirini.
and prosimians.
Yeah, prosimian, ancient relatives, right
Yeah.
on, right on.
And he said that, so they're so new, that this is just the preparation process. So, once they find the actual fossil, they have to curate it, put down all the information into a database, get it weighed, measured, find out the scientific taxonomy, and then it'll be available for researchers. So it's barely at the very infant steps of that. So we probably won't even get to know what it is until years from
Watch me.
now. These are just different pictures of other bone beds. This is a close-up of this one. This is all the matrix that comes off of it. So they actually sift through this as well after they get it off of this to make sure that they don't miss any small bone fragments or shells or organic material.
Yeah.
That was gonna be a video. So, well, in the video, it showed the director on the practice jacket, and what they use are dental picks on that giant jacket. So you just sit there and you just literally scrape with a tiny dental pick for hours and hours.
We used to use drills as well. You'd have to wear these really heavy duty gloves in order to protect your wrist and not get carpal tunnel. And if you had the main, big fossil, you'd be drilling away around it to clear the rock away from the sides. So that would take a little less time because it would hurt your hands.
Yeah, and they said too, it depends on your level of experience. So if they have just people coming in that are right off the street with no education
Yeah.
or background, yeah, probably gonna stick you with like the dental thing, but yeah, for you, like, yeah, they know that you have that background.
Yeah.
Okay, and this was, the other like really awesome thing that they had there, it's called Waldo. This is actually a holotype, which is, a one-of-a-kind fossil that's only found in Orange County. It's a toothless walrus that dates back to about 180 million years.
Wow.
So, a lot of people are like wondering if we've ever found dinosaurs in Orange County. And, the only dinosaur that we've ever found is called a hadrosaur because, Orange County was all underwater at the time. So we have the hadrosaur, and then they found this too. And they said that they actually have a few different holotypes, so there are actually a lot of unique fossils that are only found in Orange County. And I think that's it.
Heck, yeah. Thank you very much. To get involved, see this lady.
Yes, they always need volunteers for archaeo or paleo, so.
Yes to both.
Yeah.
No one, when it's available, I'm going. I already went to a meeting, I'm joining y'all. So.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll send you the link. There's for OC Parks, you have to just do like a volunteer thing, and does like a background check and first aid and CPR. Like training. Yeah.
I'll lay down the victim